Hey y'all. Okay, so I am vlogging about season 4, episode 1 of Love and Hip Hop New York. Before I get into it, the reason why I'm starting it off this way is because I don't know about y'all, but this season is giving me a headache already, and it was only the first episode. And if you watched it, you know why. We're just gonna get into it. So, starts off with Yandy, and she's calling for Mendices, and I guess that was like, I guess a little play on, I don't want to say play on words, but I guess they were trying to make it seem like Mendices was home, but we all know that Mendices is locked up, and it could be, nobody knows how long he'll be locked up or whatever. So she's calling for Mendices, and little Mendices appears. So she made like a little snack or something for them to eat, and she said the past couple of months she's been dealing with being a single mom, basically, because Mendices is in federal custody. So she's been taking care of the boys and taking care of the household, still trying to maintain her sanity, which I'm sure is not easy. So Lil Mendices asked her, when is my dad coming home? And Yandy is like, I don't know, but when he comes home, you'll be the first person I tell. So he finally blurted out to her. He said, I know my dad's been in jail. All this time, Yandy told him that he went away to the army. So he knew that his father was locked up. And she said, well, how do you know that? She said, no, he said, remember the other night when I was sleeping? I was really fake sleeping, and I overheard you two talking. So it kind of like shocked and upset Yandy, because she wanted to protect the kids from knowing that Mendices is locked up. She wanted them to think that he was just away for a little bit and he would be back home. And I mean, it's not easy telling a 7-year-old that his dad is locked up, but Yandy is just worried that the fact that he's locked up, it will have like a weird impression on little Mendices. So she said that she would discuss it with Mendices on the phone when they spoke. So now we go to Tara. And Tara is Peter Gunn's baby mother. They've been together for 13 years, and they have 2 kids. So Peter Guns introduces himself. I remember Peter Guns from the song Uptown Baby. It was Lord Tariq and Peter Guns, and I remember that song. They used to play it all the time when I was younger. But I don't know. I don't really know all the words, but I know it go, Uptown Baby, Uptown Baby, we get down, baby, we get down, baby. If you don't know, just type in Peter Guns and Lord Tariq on YouTube, and you'll find the song Uptown Baby. That was like, I think, the only hit that they really had. But, and also Peter Guns is the father of Corey Guns. I know all the like younger generations know who Corey Guns is. So, Corey Guns was featured on 6 Foot, 7 Foot with Lil Wayne. I actually met Corey Guns one time. But yeah, he was featured on 6 Foot, 7 Foot with Lil Wayne. So yeah, that's Peter Guns is basically like, he's in hip hop. He's like, he's not well known right now. He's like, I guess like behind the scenes. So now he's transitioning into being a manager for artists now, up and coming artists. So, he's in the house with Tara, and the kids, and he's saying how much he loves his family, and him and Tara really, really love each other. I mean, they should. They've been together for 13 years. You gotta love somebody being with somebody that long. So now, depending on how this season go, I don't know if I'll be calling him Rich Dollars or Bitch Dollars. But we'll see, because in past seasons, we all know Rich Dollars act like a bitch. But he ain't really do, Rich Dollars made sense last night, so I'll call him Rich Dollars this vlog. But if he pisses me off, I'm going to be calling him Bitch Dollars, so look out for that. So anyway, him and Yandy are throwing a showcase where they announced that they're going to be opening their own label. And, it's just like a little party for people to mingle, to see new talent. And Peter Guns brings his artist, Amina Butterfly. Amina Butterfly is formerly of the group Black Butterfly. And I remember a song that they made that it didn't really go anywhere, but I remember hearing about it. I think it was for the soundtrack for Waist Deep. It was called Bad Girl. I'm a bad girl. And you know that group was with her and her sisters. And I didn't know that Amina had a twin. She in the group Black Butterfly, it was her older sister Sophie and her twin sister Jazz. And they're all like German and Nigerian descent, I believe. But yeah, I didn't know they had a twin. But her and Jazz are twins. So, you know, Amina said that Amina is Peter Gunn's artist, so she came to the showcase to sing or whatever. Sorry, I'm a little cold. But she came to the showcase to sing, and Rich and Yandy, they really liked her, you know, whatever. She sang really good, so Peter was proud of her. So her and Peter spoke, and you could tell that something is going on between them, how they were speaking to each other and, like, looking at each other. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, something going on with them. Is this another Stevie J and Jocelyn? So now we go to my favorite couple, Joe and Tahiri. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how many times Joe Budden and Tahiri break up. I love them two together. Like, they need to be together. But it's like, I guess Tahiri feels like she's always supporting Joe. And Joe is just, you know, like, she gives, and Joe's just take. So, I mean, we'll see. But, I mean, this first episode, they had me cracking up. So, you know, Joe Budden, every time him and Tahiri together, he records her and her ass and everything. Tahiri got a big ass. But, I mean, it's okay. But Tahiri got a big ass. But anyway, they're back together. And, you know, basically, it was said that Tahiri they weren't having sex until she made Joe take a STD test. So, you know, Joe was like, well, I'm not worried. I know it's going to come back negative. I'm clean as a whistle. So, you know, him and her talking, and he's like, well, you know, my results come back. You know, it's time to make a baby. And she's like, well, she said, with that, before that happens, it has to be a commitment. And he's like, no, a baby will make you commit. Okay, now, see, I really hope he was joking, because this is what bothers me. I mean, I see this saying all the time, but I really think that guys need to live, like, they need to live by it. If you're not going to make her a wife, don't make her a mother. Basically. So, how ass backwards is that you and Tahiri going to have a baby, and that's probably going to bring more dysfunction to your relationship, and then y'all just going to be two bitter single people with a baby. I mean, we see it all day, every day, you know? So, I mean, I get where Tahiri's coming from. And I mean, just because you're married isn't guaranteed that you're going to be together either. But at least if you already made that commitment to each other and you spent time as a couple, as a married couple, living together or whatever, you already know what to expect of each other. So when the time is right, then you have a baby. Not the other way around. I mean, of course, it didn't happen that way with me, but I know I'm getting married soon, very soon, so I'm not really worried about it. And I mean, I'm in a committed relationship with my boyfriend or whatever, and we have our son together. Like, we're just, you know, working towards getting our own place, getting our financial right, you know, whatever. But I mean, it's some people out here who just have babies, and you know, they have the father's a deadbeat, or the mother is bitter and she keeps the child away from the father, and it's just all kinds of scenarios with that. So I'm like, okay, if you and Tahiri gonna have a baby, you need to marry her. Y'all need to work on y'all first. Y'all are still a fresh, like, I mean, they're not really a fresh relationship. They've been with each other for like 6, 7, 8 years or whatever. So, I mean, if they're starting over, it's still fresh. They still need to have fun. They still need kinks to work out. And Tahiri even said that they're going to therapy to work on their issues. So, a baby is not going to fit nowhere in there. So, I hope Joe was joking. But anyway. So, now we go to Erica Mena. I can't stand Erica Mena. But anyway. We go to her, and she's shopping for lingerie for her book. This chick always coming out with a book. Ain't this like her third book? Anyway, well, good thing we know she know how to read and write. But anyway, she's shopping for lingerie for her book cover. It's a sex book, and she invites Rich. So she announces that she's officially a lesbian, and her and Rich are they not together, but you know they're still friends or whatever. So they're talking, and Rich told Erica about the showcase and how Peter Guns was there, and we all know Erica does not like Peter Guns from last season because she claimed that Peter Guns ruined her relationship and her career. No trick. You ruined your relationship and your career. You were the one sleeping around on Rich. You were the one not cooperating when Rich told you to let him have control and, you know, run your career. You did that, not Peter Guns. Peter Guns just showed Rich the light. You ruined your own life. So, whatever. But she wasn't really feeling that. So, you know, Rich is like, well, you know, he got talent, I got this label, blah blah blah. So, you know, Erica's like, well, if you're gonna deal with Amina, then you don't need to have Peter Guns in it. Like, just take him out the equation. And Rich is like, but that's my boy or whatever. I know you're not feeling him, but that's my boy. And he you know, he manages artists. He does this, he does that, like in the industry. So Erica's not really trying to hear it. And I'm just like, you need to blame yourself. I hate when people do that. You fuck up, but you want to place the blame on everybody else but you. Grow up, accept your own, admit your own faults, and move on. That's how you'll grow as an adult. Just stop. We meet Amina, and Amina, she told us her background is from Germany. She grew up in Germany, and you know, her and her sisters came over here to like they all came to the States to get into the industry or whatever, but her sisters, they both had babies, so they moved back to Germany, and now she's a solo act, because remember I said earlier she was in the group Black Butterfly. So now she's a solo act, and she's trying to, you know, make it in the industry however she can or whatever. And her and Peter are rehearsing. Next thing I know, it looked like they was fucking on the piano. I'm like, wait a minute. But Peter got okay. See, I knew this was happening. This is another Stevie J, Jocelyn, and Mimi situation, but this is like ridiculous. So basically, Peter Guns is fucking Amina and lying to Tara about it. So anyway, we get to my boo boo K.Michelle arriving in New York. She arrived in New York like a boss on a private jet and everything. But yeah, she's in New York, and her and her friend, I forgot her friend's name, but her and her friend are discussing her plans for what she's going to do while she's in New York. And K.Michelle says she's moving into New York now. She got her place. And, you know, she has to, for a year, she has to promote and do tours and whatnot for her Rebellious Soul album. So, I mean, by the time this was filming, Rebellious Soul wasn't out yet, but I like the Rebellious Soul album. Like, it is very raw, it is very K.Michelle. It's soulful, but it's funny. You know, it's a good album. I like it. So, you know, they're just discussing what she's gonna do while she's in New York, and K.Michelle is just excited to get her career started and on track because she's been doing it for a long time. So now we go to Tara, and Tara is pissed because Peter was MIA from he didn't come home last night. We know why, but he didn't come home, and he didn't take his son to school. So when him and Tara met up, you know, Tara was like, where the hell were you? You know, I was calling your phone, you didn't answer, and he was like, my phone was off or whatever. So Tara is like, if your phone is off, it would go straight to voicemail. Maybe he's ignoring my call, or maybe he's lying to me. Something ain't right about this picture. So he basically, you know, Peter Guns is like, well, Amina demands so much of my attention and whatnot. I even had to, you know, bail out on taking my son to school. Okay, first of all, you don't put no bitch or no dude before your kid. So I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, what? I can't. Like, one thing I could say about Stevie J is that at least I guess when it came to Mimi, but I mean, at least he was around his daughters, or at least he, you know, he I mean, I don't really know because I heard a story about Stevie J owing $1.2 billion in child support. That is a whole nother story for another time, but I'm just putting that out there. But anyway, but I mean, at least with Stevie J, I don't think he would do something like that with his youngest daughter. No, you gonna sit up here, you gonna ditch your child for some chick? Like, that's terrible, and that should never be. If you once you're a parent, your child comes first before anybody. Okay, so that was dead ass wrong. And I'm like, and he was basically lying to Tara. I keep saying her name wrong. Tara. And Tara saw a picture of him and her, and she's like, "What the hell is this? This is a picture of you and Amina all hugged up. She laying on your chest." And he's like, "That ain't nothing. I'm looking at my phone, and she's laying on me and took the camera and went like this." Bullshit. Okay? Stevie Wonder could see that you and that chick is doing something. So he's lying to Tara. Tara is asking him if they sleeping together or whatever, and he's like, no, or whatever. Okay. So anyway, now we go back to Yandy. I feel so bad for Yandy. But anyway, we go back to Yandy, and she's on the phone with Mendices, and she's telling him that little Mendices knows that he's locked up. And he's like, "Wow, I didn't want him to know that." She's like, "Yeah, but he knows." And Mendices like, "He's too smart for his own good." So, they're going back and forth or whatever, because Mendices was like, "Well, other than that, how you doing?" And she was like, "Well, you never asked me how I'm doing." And he's like, he was like, "I ask you all the time. I ask you about the kids. I ask you how you doing, whatever." So Yandy basically just went on this little mini rant about how he don't ask her how she's doing, if she's still pretty, if he still love her, whatever. And I'm like, okay, Yandy, I understand you still want to feel appreciated and loved, because she says she feels like they're not in a relationship anymore because he's locked up. It's understandable that you want to feel appreciated and loved, but you got to look at it this way. This man is facing 20 years in prison. He may or may not have to do that time. So the last thing on his mind is telling you every phone call that he loves you. The phone call he really wants to have with you is the one where he's like, "I'm coming home." So forgive him if he's not asking about how you doing, how you feeling. He's in jail. He's stressed. You gotta be. Yandy she's a tad bit selfish to me in this relationship. And I don't think that's fair. I mean, DC seems like he is a good dude. Like, he loves his family. He loves her to death. But Yandy is she's selfish. She's a bit selfish. And she doesn't have a reason to be. I'm pretty sure Mendices would give her the world. But anyway, we go to Peter and Amina. I guess they just had like a fresh fuck session. I don't know. But they laid up, and I think it was Tara that was calling Peter Guns, but his phone kept going off. So Amina is just bothered because Peter has to go, and she's like, "I hate it when you leave me, whatever." He said, "I hate leaving you too." So Amina is like, I just feel like I'm tired of, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of feeling like the other woman. I'm tired of like lying about us. I'm tired of being a secret. Basically, she just wants his attention. And he's like, "Well, you making me choose between you and my family." She said, "I'm not making you choose, but you need to consider my feelings." I'm like, okay, see, these shows be giving side bitches, like, these shows be making side bitches feel like they got the glory, and I really don't understand why. Like, if you a side chick and dude has a girl or whatever, what you thought was going to happen? You knew what you were getting into when you got with this man, and I'm pretty sure you knew he had a family. Okay? So, anyway, she's tired of it or whatever, so he left, told her he loved her, whatever. We get back to Tahiri and Joe, and they're having like a romantic dinner. Joe got his results back. He's clean. He told my son, "Tahiri gonna have a hard night tonight." Basically, I'm like, okay, Joe, you could have kept that to yourself, but alright. So they cracking jokes or whatever, and Tahiri admits that she's still scared to trust Joe, but she loves him and she supports him. So they making sex jokes or whatever, and Joe Button talking about some Lord um you may not you something like you might not ever be on time, but when you come or something like that. He just said come like mad times, and I'm like, that's nasty. Okay, that's nasty. I'm pretty sure you can't wait to tap that, but come on, Joe, really, that's not romantic. So we go to Yandy and Tara, and they're talking, and Yandy is like upset, telling Tara about everything that's going on, and she's like, they having a heart to heart talk about Mendices, and she's like, they saying that he has a minimum of 20 years in jail for a drug charge or whatever, and she said there's people out here killing and murdering, and they're let free and they get life sentences, but you got this man here, he has a family and he's sitting up there. She said, why can't they just give him like some type of stipulation, like have him on house arrest or probation, something like that. Don't keep him locked up in there. And I'm like, I get that. Like, she said, I can't fathom the thought that Amir won't get to play basketball with his dad until he's 20. I can't fathom that. And she's like, also like how Amir's birthday, I guess his first birthday is coming up, and Mendices is gonna miss it. It's just a sad situation, and I really like, my heart really goes out to Yandy, because I couldn't picture living that type of life. Like, that is really sad to find out that, you just got engaged to the dude, and then next thing you know, federal officers is beating down your door for him. Like, that's crazy. So I really hope there's like a happy ending to this story. Like, I really hope that he doesn't, even if he does have to do time, it's not a lot of time. They put him on house arrest, halfway house, something, because I feel for Yandy, and I'm gonna be, tuned in to see how her story goes, because that's a real sad situation. So now we get to the end of the show, and Rich and Peter, or they watching Amina perform again, and Rich is like, she sound good, she's a dope artist, and Peter like, yeah, she look good too. Rich is like, I don't know, manager, should you be caring about how she look? So Rich is like, yo, what's going on? So he's explaining, like, he basically admitting to Rich that he's in love with Amina. And Rich is like, dude, what? He's like, you do know Tara's your girlfriend, right? He was like, yeah, I got caught up. So Rich is like, well, I know what it's like to be caught up. I mean, we know he was with Erica crazy ass Minna. So Rich is like, I know what it's like to be caught up, but dude, you are messy as hell. You being messy as hell with it. So Rich is like, so Peter is basically like, I don't want to lose my family, but and Rich is like, well, that's an oxymoron. You don't want to lose your family, but you doing everything to lose your family. I'm like, you go ahead, Rich. You tell him like it motherfucking is, because that's exactly what you're doing. You don't want to lose. You can't have it all. I mean, I know you're supposed to eat cake or whatever, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. You gotta decide. And you should have been upfront with everybody to begin with. So, you can't say you don't want to lose your family, but that's the very thing you doing. You fucking up, and you about to lose your family. So he goes off to go get a drink. Amina comes and she sits down, and her and Rich are talking, and Rich is like, y'all mixing business with personal. And Amina's like, but that's none of your business. You don't have nothing to do with it. He said, yes, I do. When business is involved, I have everything to do with it. And he's like, wifey is in town. And she was like, see, you don't even know the situation. That's not even wifey. This bitch lifted up her shirt and said, he's married to me. On her damn, I think like her rib, not her rib cage, the side, her side right here, this bitch got Mrs. Panky tatted on her. And Peter Gunn's real last name is Panky. This motherfucker married this chick after only knowing her a year. Yeah. What kind of fool? At least Stevie J married Jocelyn after him and Mimi, broke up after everything happened or whatever. And I mean, I don't know if Mimi, Jocelyn, and I don't know if they came to a mutual understanding, or Mimi just don't give a fuck anymore. I don't know. But at least Stevie J married her after. This dude is with Tara, living with her, acting like they lovey-dovey, they the best family in the world. Got this girl thinking one thing, But you married the next chick. You been with Tara 13 years. She ain't seen a ring yet. You knew this chick for 12 ass months and you married her? I couldn't. Last night's episode, it gave me a headache. But from what it looked like, this season is going to be bananas. I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to vlog about it every week. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. See you next one. Later.